Hey guys, I'm back with this cool envelope. Peter would love this noise. He'd sit his little cat ass right down on it. This is from Creek Stewart. This is going to be, well, let me rephrase that. This is shipped by Creek Stewart, but this is sent to me by Craig, who's awesome, who mentioned his name a lot because he does a lot to help this channel out. And he is a good guy you can talk to about armored warfare and military history for hours if you wanted to. So this is the Creek Stewart, this is the skills subscription. I forgot what it's actually called. But you can get this. There's Apocabox, right? But then there's this skills subscription. Part of the Apocabox Plus is the skills. I'll open it up as we talk. I brought out my ZT to open it up, and I don't even need it. The skills are really cool because rather than just get something in the box, the skills gives you some tools and teaches you how to make something. So, well, that's really cool. PVC patch, and it's nicely done. So what are you making today? Quick deployment handle wrap. And did he give us something to make? This is different than I've seen. This is more than I've seen in a lot of the skills challenges. This feels like, is this just like a shovel spear? Is this a hori-hori? It is kind of like a hori-hori. All right. It's a quick deployment handle wraps. Not a wraps. Wrap. They're not driving around shooting all the jobs and doing the wraps. That's a cool patch, actually. He has a Patch of the Month Club? I actually will get in on this Patch of the Month Club. For just $8 per month. You know what? I will do this. I love patches. Sorry, we're looking at all this stuff. Adventures of Riverhood. I'm not sure what that even is, but we'll look it up. The Old Man and the Crow by Creek Stewart. Okay, that's another thing. So, all right, sorry guys, let's get back to this. So we've got paracord. We've got what looks like basically a little hori-hori type shovel. Right? And it's a multi-use kind of shovel. Part of what comes in the Apocabox, and he's giving it to us as part of the skills challenge, because the skills challenge requires, I mean, it doesn't require, but it involves making something. So rather than just giving us, because normally it's just like the tools to make the thing and you have to gather materials, Creek Stewart actually gave us the whole thing to work with, because I guess otherwise it would have just been 550 cord. I know I'm babbling a little bit on this one. I'm putting it together in my head as we go. So you can use your multifunction camp trowel to add another layer of paracord wrap for the handle. All right, so quick deployment handle wraps. I'm not really sure how this is different. I guess this is another way to add a 550 cord wrap to a handle or anything else. You put it on a knife, you put it on a walking stick, whatever. This is a different kind of 550 cord wrap than I would do, and it looks like it's got a just a pull to unravel the whole thing. So there is a video involved, and here's the thing: it's not behind a paywall or anything. It is just you go to it and you learn how to do it. So I'm going to learn how to do it, and then we're going to do it in the video on this shovel, and we'll see it done. And you'll laugh at me as I struggle through it a little bit. All right, first step in our process for Creek Stewart's quick release handle wrap. We're going to make a little loop. This is technically when you're working with rope, with cord, this is called a bite when you do this. Now, as another technical note, when you've got a rope or a cord, if you were using it for weight bearing, every time you put a bend in a rope, you reduce its weight bearing ability. Either by 1/4 or 1/2, I can't remember exactly, but just FYI. We're not doing this for any kind of weight bearing ability right now, so it doesn't matter. But so we make our bite or our loop in the rope. There's no exact measurement for this here. He supplied, like I said before, 10 feet of paracord for this and the little camp shovel to use. So you just want to leave a little bit of a tail at the end, and you want your loop area to just go kind of extend past the handle. And We're using the landmark here because we're using this shovel. So if you were doing this on your own knife, you could use the hilt, for example, as your landmark. If you were doing this on just a stick you found as a walking stick, you would just select, this is the end of my handle area, for example, and do that. So this is just a reference point we're using. It could be anything. So next step. According to the instructional video, you can start wrapping either way. I like the way that he did it, where he started going over his little tail here. So you wrap around a little tail, and it doesn't matter where you do this because, you know, we can move the cord around. You wrap, and this is the first starting it off is the hardest part because, you know, you have only so many fingers and thumbs and stuff. So you wrap around your little tail. Try to, oh, this is the part where you guys get to laugh at me. And, you know, with any of these kinds of skills, you got to start practicing them. That's why these are great. You get to practice them ahead of time before you need to do it out in the wilderness somewhere or whatever. You wrap around. Keep holding it. Almost there. You're going to go around, under a little loop you formed. And then you're going to go wrap back around it. So in fact, you have almost like a little knot. Almost. Not quite a knot, but almost like a little knot. Now, I would like this to be a little bit tighter, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take this part off. So now I've got a little bit more of a snug hold there. I'm going to go right back around. Now, it is going to be a little challenge to keep holding these things for the first few wraps. I'm going to go underneath again. And I'm going to wrap back on top. Again, trying to make this as snug as I can. It's not going to look terribly pretty at the start. We're going to go back around. See, now the tension is going to start to hold this for me, so my fingers are going to get a little bit of a break. Now, one thing I've thought of is if I could have anchored this through this hole to hold it for me, that would have been great. Or just some duct tape just to hold it down. That would have made it so much easier. We're going to go up behind, keeping it nice and snug as we can. On top, this is going to make that nice little line we see here. I'm going to go back around. Now, I'm going to try to keep these nice and tight together. I don't want this to pull off center either. I want this to be my guide all the way down the handle. Gonna go around. Oops, that was the tripod. Gonna go behind. We're gonna come back up and over. And then basically we're gonna wrap this all the way down to the end of the handle there. So I'm gonna do that off camera now that you've seen how this works. Towards the top here, we're gonna come to the end, right? So I maybe could wrap it one more time, but there's not a lot of room. So what I'm going to do is take this end and make a little bit of a loop, and I'm going to stick it through the big loop we already have. Just like that. With that loop in there, I'm going to take this guy and tug it nice and tight. Oh, didn't want to make it that tight. Didn't want to do that yet. A little tighter than I wanted. But these are all nice and snug here. Boy, I made that really tight. Okay, well, it is what it is. Trying to find which end runs down there. So I could have started a little closer to the end here, but I didn't. It's my first time. But these are all nice and tight around the handle now. What I do like about this kind of wrap is that if you put this in the right place, that can give you a little extra support in the palm area right there. But let's move on to the next step here. You might notice the camera shifted a little bit. I went and plugged it in just for a second for some more battery life. But so reviewing a little bit, I do actually want to pull this little guy in fairly tight. Now, this is a little sloppy. This should be nice and tight. These rows should all be nice and tight together. Should look the whole handle like this. Not so much like this, but like this. And at this point, we're kind of done. You could double wrap this. You could do another wrap of this all the way around if you wanted to, and repeat this procedure, depending on how much 550 cord you have and how much you want to carry. The point is, this gives you a handle wrap for comfort, for grip, but it also carries all of this 550 cord for you. So now at this point, we've got this little line. What we would really do, honestly, out in, if we were doing this, is we'd want to cut this, and then you could melt this. You could have tied that in a knot or whatever, but we melt this to keep it secure. This is not going anywhere, so you could cut this as well and then melt this end, or in this case, in this case right here, we can just tuck it into the knife, whatever it happens to be, and cut that off. The thing about it being quick release, and again, this is all Creek Stewart. I'm not making this up. This is my technique. I'm just showing you the skill that comes, monthly with this one. So let's say that we did want, then we need this 550 cord, building a shelter, we're lost in the woods tonight, and we're just putting up a shelter real quick. You cut off your knot or your melted end or whatever, and we pull this, and all this 550 cord is just, well, let me separate it from the tail, is just available for us. All we got to do is unwrap it right here from our handle. Yeah, I just spent all this time wrapping it, but, and whatever length it is of 550 cord that you used, I mean, you could literally, if you have a big enough walking stick or something, you could do this, a trekking pole, all the way down the length of the trekking pole. You could actually take another hank of 550 cord that's already spooled up and do it on that. So it doesn't just have to be on the handle of a knife or something of that nature. You could do this kind of quick release braiding. So say you have your main supply of 550 cord, in a big hank that is already wound up and spooled, and then you have 10, 20, 50 feet of ready cord that is wrapped up like this, that is quick release and ready to go. So I have other of these skills packages that are a little bit more complicated, that are cool, but they require more outdoor elements, more crafting, stuff like that, videos that I'm working on. But this is a quick one that I'm able to do right here on the spot, so I wanted to do it. So I like the skills challenge ones, because it's one thing to get a tool or some supplies in a box, but it's really cool to learn how to do something. And that's what these skills challenges do. And this one, like I said, is a little bit different, because the other ones you'll be seeing real soon, but they not only teach you how to do something, but they also come with some of the elements that you need, and then you gather up, like, let's say you're learning how to make a specific type of fishing spear, they'll have some of the stuff, but they'll be like, by the way, go find a stick, go find the proper pole, so you learn how to do that stuff. It's really cool. I'm going to put a link to the specific video on how to do this. Not that this is affiliated with anything, but I did show you the technique that it's his technique, and it's only fair that I show you his video if you want to learn how to do it. So there'll be a link to Creek Stewart's video on how to do this wrap and everything in the video description. And like I said, you can do it on anything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's simple, but good skill to have. It's cool that this came. Maybe we'll look at this further in another video. But thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think. Remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.